Hey, Samak, everybody. I know the lighting's not the best, but just videotaping out of my temporary bedroom here. That's my bed. It's a couch, but it's also a bed. But alhamdulillah, it's comfortable. Um, about lying and cheating. I feel like there are so many people that are trying to squeeze every last penny or piastre out of me. And thank you for fixing my pronunciation. The Boab, my doorman, is a total liar. um, like I said last time, he says he usually gets £100 per person for living in our building, but after asking around, talking to the people who own our old apartment, that got burned down, it's usually 10 per person. And I pay 10, my roommate pays 20 because he's just been doing that. But the doorman had to insert that because when you're communicating with someone here with business deals, they try to put you in a weak spot and try to make you feel like they're doing something for you that's special. Like, I'm making it good for you. You usually pay only 30, and I accept 100, but I'll let that go for you. And then he adds other things, and there are little things here and there, but they add up to make a certain picture, make you feel a certain way. At least that's their goal. But in reality, they're all lies. Um, so this new place, I don't know if I've been talking about it or not yet. Um, he said he practically owned it. He said he was a partner with the owner of this. This is my doorman, and he knows that our place burned down. And he's like, "Let me show you a place. It's on the second floor. Um, what it would be equal to the third floor. It would be equal. It's on the first floor Egyptian, but it would be equal to the third floor because the first floor is just him, and then and then it's ground, and then it's first. So third floor. So it's still closer to the ground. Um, he's a doorman and a samsara, and a samsara is like a real estate agent. Um, so we've been paying 1,600 for our place upstairs. It's on the Mediterranean, and that's a pretty good price. It'll go up to maybe 7,500 pounds during the summer when a lot of people from the Gulf and Europe will come in and will rent it. Well, um, he told us he'll do it for 1,400, which is cheaper. The place is nicer. I was like, cool, this is great. Um, then I went there 2 days ago, and I sat down and I was like, okay, this place is great. Let me get the key, and we'll start. And what I was planning to do is pay for the last week of February, and then we'll pay month by month. And for the week, I'll pay a fourth of the price. And so I get in, I get the key, I just sit down, and I'm like, man, this place looks cool, and I'm happy we finally got a place. Again, 2 days ago this happened. Then he knocks on the door. He comes in. His wife had given me the key because I had knocked on his door. And he's like, okay, you got to pay me £100 per day for this week. He's like, the other guy just doesn't do that. He's like, I might be able to get it down to 80, but it doesn't matter. He's like, you got to do it. And he kept doing it. He's like, just start with the 2 months from now and pay them at the end of May, worry about it later. I was like, no, I don't do that. And I want a contract, and I want to speak with the owner. He's like, you want to speak to the owner of the place? How can you do that? He's like, I'm just like him. We're like this. This in Arabic is like this in English, which is like we're tight, we're like bros. All lies, lies, lies. He's like, okay. Alhamdulillah. There's just a bakhur, which is incense in the place, so I'm sneezing. He calls the owner, okay? He calls the owner in front of me. He's like, fine. He calls him, and he's telling the owner for the first time ever that he's even renting out the place and that he has an agreement with us. Can you believe that? He lied the whole time. There was no agreement. He didn't tell him. And then he's like, oh, the owner says usually it's 3,000 per month, and that I'm giving you too cheap a deal. Lies. It's a lie. It's a big lie, lie, lie. I don't know how many times I'm going to say lie in this video. A lot. He says he's the associate of the owner and that he's his representative here. That's a lie. And then what he does is he's like, oh, well, the owner says that his son's friends, associates, might take the place from the Saturday for 2 months. I was like, what? You mean we don't even have this place? I'm here, I'm with my stuff. Thankfully, I only brought one bag because I was like, let me just make sure. You know, you gotta make sure. And you're telling me that there is no deal? This is ridiculous. And then after I was like, give me the owner's number. We want to talk to him. We want to meet with him. He's like, what? You don't trust me? And, you know, it's kind of implied, yes, I don't trust you. Or no, I don't trust you. But, you know, you just can't say it blatantly or else he'll get mad and stuff and, I don't know, want to fight or something. He seemed like he was getting really, really pissed. So he gives me his number. I give it to my roommate because he knows about this stuff. He knows how to deal with it. I'm still new. This is my first time dealing with an apartment. And I'll learn, but, you know, I don't want to deal with it by myself. So as my roommate is talking to him, you know, we're just sitting there quietly. It's very awkward considering I don't trust a word that comes out of his mouth. His jaw moves and all I hear is lie, 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 lie. I don't trust him at all. And when a person lies to me, I would say once or twice, and I'm talking about like serious lies. They don't say, haha, just kidding, it's not a joke or anything. I don't believe them ever again. Sorry, just don't. And he's way past that point. He's lied to me several times. And then what he says, as we're just sitting there, he's like, look, the owner and I, we never disagree. I say something, and he's like, you handle it. He gave me this key because I'm just basically in charge. And then I just couldn't take it anymore. So I pointed it out. I was like, but that didn't happen this time. This is the only time I see your relationship with the owner, and it looks like you guys don't always agree. And he's like, what are you saying? That you don't believe me that I'm a liar? I just kept silent because it was pretty obvious. Yes, he's a liar. He said he didn't know the owner had made other arrangements. And then he was like, he says something ridiculous. He's like, look, I know your apartment burned. I'm going to say burned down. It didn't burn down, but, you know, it just makes more sense in English to say that. It's unlivable. I took a few pictures on my phone. I'll try to upload them. But it's just, I mean, there's nothing there in the living room. It's just the walls are, I mean, they just took out everything. They just have to redo everything. Anyways, he adds that he was going to give us an apartment upstairs, which he has, a floor above us, for a few days while we get our things sorted out. That's a lie. Yeah. By the way, in the background, what you hear is this guy with this loudspeaker, and he's selling something. I don't know what he's selling right now because I'm talking, but, you know, they can do it for propane gas tanks. They can do it for bananas, watermelons. It's not watermelon season, but different things. And so they just go through the neighborhoods, and when people hear something they like, they can go downstairs and buy it. Interesting. He swears by God all the time, and I'll say this again, but when people swear by God here, it usually means they're lying. He says inshallah. Inshallah means God willing. Now, in Islam, you're supposed to say this when you want to do something. And you say inshallah just to show that it's ultimately in God's hands, but you strive for it with all due striving. And if you don't say inshallah, then it probably will not happen because you're not recognizing the power of God in the future. Well, a lot of people here, I would probably say most, they say inshallah when they don't want to do something. So like, can you do this? And they're like, God willing. That means I'm not even going to try. It's in God's hands, which is a total misuse of it. Yeah, so that's basically it. And I'd like to add something. I remember when I was posting about Germany, how I was getting used to it. It was very weird because I was so paranoid about everything. Everything was just like, are you sure that this is the price, and trying to bargain or different things like that. Well, the reason is because I got so used to just not trusting people on the simplest of things. And surprisingly enough, so far the bread guy who sells a piece of bread for 50 PS is, I mean, I look like a foreigner. I went with one of my American friends who looks very white for the first time, and he just never lied. So maybe those are the people you can trust. But, you know, when I see Arabs and immigrants in the U.S. and they're very, very paranoid about things and prices, and I'm like, whoa, chill out, this is totally inappropriate. Well, at least now I understand why. You know, I think I really do. Usually I was just like, oh my God, what are you doing? That's ridiculous. Well, coming here has really opened up my eyes from that perspective. So I thank God, alhamdulillah, that I have this experience because now I can make that connection and can put myself in their shoes. It's not easy, you know. For example, I know why my dad is so paranoid when he buys things. It's because he was living out here for a while. Shukran and so on.